Hi and welcome to the channel. Tonight's a special video. I'm filming it on New Year's Day night and it'll be out in a couple of days, so you'll see this on maybe the 3rd or the 4th. But more importantly, this isn't a series, this is a one-off, and the only time this will happen will be next New Year's Day night-ish. And I'll explain what I mean. So I like to do some videos that are a bit different, and I like to try and chuck some sort of different-ish content out there. This is going to be different to the normal sit and talks, which I've got more of coming. I want to talk about Death Guard soon because of reasons. But I wanted to do this one-off video specifically. So we're now in 2018. It's now something like 9 o'clock here in the UK in 2018. So we've been in 2018 for a little while. And as those of you that have been with the channel know, who have been watching and following the videos, we only started last year. We started, I think it was July, August time last year. And in 4 or 5 months, I've achieved a lot more than I thought I would ever achieve with this channel. And now what I want to do is push it on and keep going and keep pushing and keep pushing. You may have seen on New Year's Day or the day after the We Need You video and what that's all about. Hopefully some of you decided to try and give us a helping hand. I won't go into that because that will probably be near enough done by now and finished. Anyway, the channel's been amazing. It's been a lot of fun to do. It's been interesting. The feedback's been incredible. You guys that watch this are amazing. Some of the most wonderful hobby type people I've ever spoken to. Some epic people out there. None are more epic than patrons. Now, when I launched the channel in July, I did it for really the same reason I'm doing it for now. Because I enjoy it, because I like talking hobby, because I like talking about the hobby, and I like sharing my opinions and my views. Some people told me, why don't you stick those views on YouTube? And initially I thought, no one's going to be interested. And actually people were, which was quite good. And then I thought, we can do more than this. We can explore different avenues. We followed Martin at Golden Demon, and then we did our first battle report, which was amazing fun. And from someone who thought probably about a year ago I would never be able to film, record, edit, produce a battle report, we did it and it was incredible fun. Part of the reason all this has been achievable is to do with patrons. Now, when I launched, the only reason why I created Patreon in the first place was so I could support other channels. Winters, Sam from Emperor's Path, predominantly were the two I supported. Amazing guys, by the way, check out their channels if you haven't already seen them. Anyway, that's why I created it, and I was there, sat in front of my computer. I created the page to support those. All it is login details essentially, and I thought, why not? Why not create a page? So I did. I created myself a Patreon page, and I started plugging it on the channel. Only sort of a little bit, saying if you feel like it, head on over. And that was the intention. And actually, people started to pledge money. People started to become patrons of Warhammer, which was, for me, amazing. I was like, this is awesome. People actually want to see this, so much so they're prepared to support the channel and back it. Fantastic. I thought we'd get a few, and it grew and grew and grew. And actually, what the Patreon group has become isn't just people supporting the Warhammer channel. It's become its own little hobby community. I spoke about it in the last video. I'm sure I've spoken about it before as well. And it's come away from me saying to people, if you feel like it, go and have a look, to saying join, because it's amazing. It's an awesome group of hobbyists. I'm sure the guys that watch this will comment below and tell you what they think about being involved in the Patreon chat and the support they get and the hobby talk that they get and the hints and tips and help and all that kind of stuff. So I do urge people to head on over to Patreon and check it out. And that leads me to this video. These guys are so awesome that what I wanted to do was I wanted to put together a video essentially dedicated to them. So I had a thought about it, I had a think about it, I had a think about it. And yesterday I thought, well, what a good idea this could be if we stick a post on Patreon that they can all see. And what I do is I ask them for their 2018 hobby-based resolutions. There's a lot of stuff I've seen on Instagram about people putting the hobby resolutions up, etc. I thought, well, this could be a cool video. So I'll ask them all for their hobby resolutions. If they want to comment, they can comment. If they don't want to comment, they don't have to. What that means I can do is I can give them a named shout out, tell you what their resolution is, and go on from there. The idea being in a year's time-ish, roughly, it depends on work, etc. But in a year's time, when we do the next one for 2019, and hopefully there'll be a load more patrons, what I can do is, out of this original list of this post, because this post won't leave Patreon, it will stay there, out of this original list in December this year, that's weird, I can see where people are at, and we can pick a winner. And it's not based on who's done the best, it's about who's done the best comparative to their skill and ability. So we'll pick a winner and they will win some kind of prize. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but the idea is to make it quite big and quite special. Maybe a start collecting box or something, maybe even something bigger than that. I don't know yet. I haven't decided, but that's where I would like to go with it. And I didn't know if this would go down well. A lot of them have commented, so it seems to have gone down quite well. So that's the premise of this video. This is why I'm doing it. It's going to be interesting, and actually some of the comments are quite interesting. But the idea basically is that we talk through all their resolutions. I'll tell you a bit about mine at the end, although I can't win because that would be pointless. And the winner is me. Oh, there, look at that. Anyway, we'll go through their resolutions, and then that's that for this video, pretty much. And then I might even film another one tonight. This is good fun. It's been a while since I've sat here with you guys alone in front of the camera, but because this is for the Patreon specifically, I wanted to make sure I got this one out. Anyway, so from the top, the first person to comment, who is always the first person to comment, a guy called John Newcomb, probably one of the first ever Patreons, epic supporter. If I manage to do any more battle reports, there's a snow-based scenery set that he made. He's donated models, he's donated an army. Epic bloke, doesn't like to be named and put in front of the spotlight, so I thought I'd mention him first and give you his name. John says he wants to basically build and paint his 2k GT list, so he's attending a GT. I think he's planning on taking Astra Militarum with Grey Knight allies, as far as I remember. He wants to complete Imperial Chapel type terrain set, so he's making some more terrain. He wants to build some rural terrain and play a game. I love this part because a lot of them have pulled this from his idea. Play a game against at least 3 other Patreons. That's awesome. So the guys are now planning on meeting up in different locations, etc., and playing games. And there's another part to that I'll go on to in a minute. Finally, he wants to build and paint a Lord of War of some description. So I've no doubt he'll probably hit up the Patreon chat and ask people for their ideas. So there's John's. He wants to build and paint 2K, 2 terrain sets, play 3 Patreons, and build and paint a Lord of War. That's quite a lot of resolutions for 1 year. Fair play, let's hope he gets it done. Right, so next up is Mike. I had a little pause there because I couldn't remember the guy's surname because he didn't put his surname on Patreon. Mike Phillips, new Patreon, about a week I think he's been a Patreon. Legend, straight on there with his resolution. He wants to collect, build and paint at least 2K's worth of Tyranids. Also, he's going to steal John's idea and pledge to play a game against at least 3 other Patreons. Mike lives just up the road from me, so he might even come on the channel for some battle reports in the future. As a measurable way of getting himself involved in the 40k community. And he says Happy New Year to everyone, which is cool. Oh yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. We did that in the last video, so Happy New Year. Mark Jones says he wants to build and collect 2k of both Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines for a narrative build, which is quite cool. However, he's not building with a specific list in mind, as it's more about collecting. So he's going rule of cool, buy what I like, stick it together, build and paint. So he's looking at basically building and painting 4k of models, 2 Imperial, 2 Chaos, of stuff he likes. And then finally, I have 1 chapter master unassembled and unpainted thus far. So he's got 1 model. So he literally has to buy his 4,000 points, stick it all together. So that's quite the ask, actually. Next we've got Riddick. Riddick's amazing. Riddick's the guy writing the fluff for me for my Arbitrators of Blood, my Blood Angels chapter. What a legend. I'll be doing some of those videos soon because that would be cool. He wants to meet and play a guy called Dylan. Dylan is another Patreon who has got some of the most incredible green stuff and conversion work I've ever seen. And he also wants to go to the Warhammer Day at Warhammer World. This is what I was talking about with John. I haven't announced this yet officially, and there'll probably be another video for it. The plan this year, because we've already got 27 Patreons, the plan this year will be to organise a day or a weekend, perhaps a Saturday, Sunday, up at Warhammer World, where we book out a load of tables and all the patrons go, get together, play some games, throw some dice, have some food, maybe go out in the evening and have a couple of drinks, etc. And it's just a weekend for patrons to get together. I mean, I won't be able to pay for it all. Probably not. But that would be the idea. So he wants to attend Warhammer World because he's never been before. And it's amazing. If you haven't been, it is really cool. The exhibition centre alone is worth the visit, let alone the gaming hall and Bugmans, etc. Really cool. Next, we've got Brian Spears. His resolution is going to be to complete at least 2k of Harlequins and he specifically wants to not buy any more models for his Death Guard, Eldar or Dark Eldar until he's painted all of the models he already has for each faction. Something I fall really foul of. Oh, I've got a whole army here, I need to get this painted. Start painting. Oh, new shiny. I've just done it recently, and I'll explain to you in a bit what I'm on about. Actually, so I've been painting my Thousand Suns and putting them 1,000 Suns together, and I've just built up the 2K and started to spray some more up, which is good, and I am enjoying it, but I do get bored fast. And then Christmas has happened, and what my brother did, my birthday's the day before Christmas for those who don't know, and what my brother did was he bought me some stuff for Christmas, which is amazing, and for my birthday. Basically he says to me, what do you want? And I tell him, and I say to him, what do you want? And he tells me, and we go out and buy each other some GW type stuff. It's almost always GW stuff. Now he asked me back in July time, I think it was, and I'd forgotten pretty much, and then he turned up with Typhus and 3 Death Shroud Terminators. I'll put them together, it's Boxing Day. The love for the Death Guard came back instantly. The Death Shroud Terminators, those models are insanely cool. A little bit miffed that they're monopose, but I can forgive them because they're so cool, and I only intend to have 3 on my list. And what I did as soon as I got them was I started writing Death Guard lists again. So now we're back on the Death Guard train, along with the Thousand Suns train, and this will all be part of my resolution. Anyway, so yeah, so he wants to buy basically nothing more until he's built and painted everything he's got. He also is going to steal John's idea and play 3 other patrons. I might even try to arrange a small, fluffy campaign tournament for patrons at 40k in Colchester. It's Brian's base, Colchester Way. There's a shop called 40k. I used to attend that when I was up in Ipswich in the forces. Really cool little shop. They do some cool tournaments actually. They're good fun. I haven't been for a while. He might try and organise a little tournament there, which would be quite cool. And it also, like he says, it would help solve the play 3 patron resolution if there's a little tournament for patrons. So we're now going to have an open day at Warhammer. Well, I say open day. We're going to have a Warhammer day at Warhammer World. We may even have a patrons tournament at 40k. This is what this community is about, and this is why I love it. These guys are awesome. So get involved and join. Chris Ansell, he wants to get to grips with 2,000 point Psycho Heavy list, as so far he's always steered towards shooty heavy only. He loves the 3 patron resolution along with Mohammed at Warhammer World, so he's going to try and play. So we're now building ourselves a core group of people across the country, and in fact, this is across the world. There's guys in Australia and America that have joined us as well. But across the UK, there's a group of people that are looking to get together maybe 3-4 times a year, I'm hoping, and play games, and that is really cool. You can never have enough opponents, never. Simon Hill, absolute legend. I think mine should be to build my gaming table, meet some of the patrons and go to Warhammer Games Day. Building a gaming table is a really cool idea. Something I thought about doing before we did battle reports, and in the end I ended up cheating and buying tables from Amazon because effort. Fair play, it'll be really cool to see what he comes up with. Simon's just started painting some Death Guard like the last 2 days as well, and his stuff's really cool. For someone who's quite a new painter, looks really awesome. This name, I think I'm going to say it right, and I hope he doesn't kick me if I don't, but he's got to fly a long way from the States to do it, if he does. Robert Fairbairn the 4th, which is awesome. Rob, absolute legend. He, like I say, he's one of our stateside patrons. He has his resolution, which is to complete building and painting 3,000 points of his first army. So I think he's on his first army now. I believe it's Marines, Primaris, Marines and Marines. So I think today he's been doing scouts and lieutenant and stuff. Anyway, he wants to build and paint 3,000 points. That's quite the ask as well, actually, especially for someone who's new to it. It's his first army. So that'll take him a while, but it'll be interesting to see. And this is what I love about the group, is because we can watch people's armies progress and watch people's skills progress. Andrew Easter, he wants he's got, this is a complex resolution. I love this. His is multi-part, and it's 5 parts, which is cool. So, and he's worded it in such a way that I'm just going to read it because it's cool. To betray the God Emperor of mankind and help the Xenos threat rid the galaxy of mankind. Number 2 is to allow myself to be seduced by a Xenos army. He's asking us currently, lots of people in the chat, what should I do? Should I do Orcs? Should I do Tyranids? Should I do Tau, etc. Build and paint 2,000 points of said Xenos army, whichever army leads to lust and love boiling inside me. Interesting. To write a narrative campaign that challenges the Imperium of Man and perhaps our allies. And 5, to drench the Imperium of Man in blood and complete the campaign. Win or lose, blood will be spilled. I misread that then and almost ruined his post. So he wants us to help him pick a Xenos army, build, paint, collect 2,000 points of that Xenos army, write a campaign where that Xenos army takes on the Imperium, and then play that campaign. That's an awesome resolution because that can last the year, literally. If he builds and paints by June, he's still got the campaign that he can put together and play. So I really like that one. Adam Naylor, good friend of mine and the legend that lent me his computer so we could put that first battle report online. What a star. His resolution is to build and paint 2,000 points of Tyranids and learn to use this airbrush I've owned for far too long. Adam's hobbied with me for as long as I can almost remember, and he's horrendously bad for not painting his armies. I'm sure he won't mind me saying. He's had a few different armies. He's had his Marines. He started building some Orcs. I think he's got some Death Watch. And now he's moved on to Tyranids. And he's doing really well with the Tyranids so far, and I'm hoping the momentum carries on. And he doesn't ever paint it. He can build it and play with it. He never paints it. So he wants to paint his 2,000 build and paint his 2,000 points of Nids, which is awesome. And he's also got an airbrush, which I think was bought for him like 4 Christmases ago, and I think it might still be in the box. Adam, come and give me a shout, mate. You know I use an airbrush. Just come and give me a shout, and I'll show you how to use it. And we'll get you going on the airbrush because that probably speed up your painting as well. I'm just saying. Noel James, really cracking bloke. I think he's going to lend his Nids to the army for some battle reports, and they look amazing. This year he aims to enter and win local armies on parade and qualify from GWGT Heat, and he wants to paint 2 armies. That's quite high level. So he wants to win armies on parade, qualify from the GWGT, and paint 2 full armies. That'll be interesting to see how he gets on with that. Especially for me, the armies on parade and the GWGT Heat, because the GWGTs tend to be quite harsh and full of what can only really be described as a lot of cheese. And obviously Games Workshop are working really hard at the moment to fix the rules so the cheese and spam lists don't exist. So we'll be interested to see how he gets on with that. Rick Lewis wants to tidy up his armies and unify them visually. So basically what he's saying is he buys a lot of this stuff from eBay and different websites like that. And they end up with being different paint schemes and different bases, etc. And very slowly he wants to try and make them more personal and tie them all together into one army. I need to speed this up, and that's the other part of the equation, to make more time for painting. Something I think we're all guilty of, especially I've got a small family and my job and this channel and stuff that actually paint. The last 2 days I've picked up the paintbrush and attacked Mortarion again because he's just been sat there gathering dust in Death Guard Green for months. So I actually started to give it a go because he's right, I need to find more time myself. Mark Andrews says his hobby resolutions are as follows. 1, finish up the hobby room. I wish I could have a hobby room. 2, to finally settle on Mortarion and Araman 2,000 point list. He's building a narrative list based on his narrative. And this is important actually. People do criticise people for that's not fluffy, that's not following the narrative. Surely the narrative is what you make it. The narrative stories that exist out in the 40k universe only exist because authors have picked up the story, written their narrative, written their books, and then we believe that's the narrative. That is the narrative they've written. So why can't people make their own? I love it when people make their own fluff. So he wants Mortarion and Araman in the same list because he loves the Mortarion model and he loves the Araman model. No other reason. He doesn't want Mortarion and Magnus necessarily. Doesn't have to have Araman and Typhus. They're the 2 he wants. So he's trying to put together a list and a story as to why this has occurred and why it's happening, which is really, really cool. And he keeps asking the patrons for help in it. And he has actually said, thanks for the help so far, fellow patrons, although you guys probably already know that anyway. Number 3 is to paint that list fully. 4 is to come up with a plausible narrative as to why Morty and Araman are together, as I just mentioned. 5 is to help out the channel and patrons in any way I can. What a lovely resolution. Such an open resolution to have. Just, I want to help people in the Patreon chat and the channel. Amazing. And 6, which gets a bit harsh, to spill the blood of the Imperium and laugh at all those who follow the false emperor, which I am fully behind. Apart from the fact I'm about to start Blood Angels for more Amigos, but maybe they'll turn to chaos. Jonathan Gordon, my resolutions are to get at least 2k of my Ultramarines fully painted, as well as my 2k Cadian Armoured Company, and possibly start a 1,000 Suns army. These guys have got some big pushes. That would be really cool. And they're very different armies, really, I think, aren't they? Ultramarines, I mean, they're all Ultramarines and 1,000 Suns are both Marines, but 1,000 Suns are Psyker heavy. And quite infantry based. Ultramarines could be a bit of everything. And Cadian Armoured is armoured, so it's all vehicles, which is really cool. Dan Ford, resolution is nice and simple. Paint a model a week. That's really cool, because if you do that, you end up with obviously 52 painted models. And actually, I think it's quite hard. It seems like a simple one, but I actually think painting a whole model every week for some people who've got busy lives and families is really. I think I'd struggle to do that if it was me. Honest to God, I think I'd struggle. So fair play, Dan. That looks like that would be a fun one. Sean Parks, another one of our stateside viewers. My hobby resolution is to build and paint my first 2,000 points of Chaos Space Marines Legion. I also want to learn to paint force weapons. I would love to. Luckily for Sean, in the patron chat is Mr. Waller, and Waller probably could teach him how to paint force weapons, which is really, really cool. And lastly, we've got CJ Chris, who has said, if this is brilliant, the first sentence is amazing. If I get a single model painted and finished, I'd be happy. But as a goal, I'd like to get at least 500 point skirmishable army put together. As a personal stretch goal, a second 500 point force, so I can play with a couple of mates locally without needing to convince any to get invested themselves. I might be underselling myself as I have more motivation due to this community, but to be fair, it took me 9 months to put together 2 squads on one weekend and then get another day to spray them. So that's the patrons. I've fired through them. Varied, as you can tell. Martin said to me he wanted to win 3 golden demons or something, which is exceptional, but he didn't write it on there, so I don't get to include him. I know from my perspective, this is the first year I think I'm going to try and set some kind of hobby-based resolutions, and predominantly is for you guys, because these are easy-ish. Coming up with content and topics to sit and talk to you guys about, I find quite easy. So these take care of themselves to a point. Battle reports, I think, is where it becomes a little bit more difficult. We're not looking at kicking them out weekly. I just don't think... I've seen and been close to people that have started doing that, and I feel like they lose the love for it. And I don't want us to get there. I don't want us to lose the love for the hobby or for gaming. I want to keep gaming. I've got a game on Wednesday, not filming it. Gaming for fun and gaming to enjoy myself, because I think it's very important that I keep that aspect. But I do still want to kick out regular-ish battle reports, maybe monthly. And to do that, I need a variation of painted armies. Now, I have my Eldar that we've already seen. Martin has lent me his Dark Eldar and Blood Angels, which are amazing. The Blood Angels are from White Dwarf. Dark Eldar we've seen on the Then and Now series that we did in the very, very early days of Warhammer. Really, really pretty armies. I'm going to learn the rules for those and get them online very, very soon, hopefully. But then what I also want to do, alongside using his armies, is bring more of my own armies to it. I've got loads of armies not painted because I was terrible for years. And I never really needed to. My friends were all kind of like, yeah, whatever, we'll play. I didn't really do tournaments that much. Did a few. Did a load last year and the year before. And now I'm kind of going off them again in 8th. Although thinking about going back with a filthy tournament list. Perhaps. But so I've had these models and I've never painted, and the new shiny comes out and I move on, and it never really affected me. I will not put stuff on YouTube for battle reports that's not painted. I just won't do it. I can't stand watching stuff that's not painted, so I won't put it on there. So I have in my possession 2,000 odd points of Thousand Suns and 2,000 odd points of Death Guard. They are my resolution. I want to get those 2 done, painted up to scratch. The guys know the lists because I share the lists in the Patreon chat. They know the lists, so it's not like I can deviate, cheat, and buy 2 Imperial Knights or Chaos Knights. So that is what I want to do. Is my Thousand Suns and my Death Guard. My Blood Angels, I don't need to make that resolution because we're going to do that in the 3 More Migo series. So the 3 More Migo series, the Blood Angels will slowly grow anyway. There'll be a slow grow army that will build and paint over time. But I'm hoping, because we're doing those in stages, that won't be too bad and it won't be too hard. That's my thought process. So as a personal goal outside, to be able to bring armies to the channel, I want to paint out my Death Guard and paint out my Thousand Suns, which will be really, really cool. I also want to be able to organise Warhammer Day for all the Patreons and get up there, and I would like to try and play most of them who are UK based at least over the course of these next 12 months, because I think that would be a lot of fun. Even if I just go up for a day and play someone, and it doesn't have to be at Warhammer World. Warhammer World? Wow, that's how much I think of this channel. I think we're going to take over Warhammer World already. It doesn't have to be at Warhammer Day at Warhammer World. We should just call it Warhammer World. I think that should be a thing. So if some people want to sneak up there at night time and change the sign, just use one of these banners. But yeah, so that would be cool to go up there and do that. But I'd like to try and get around most of the patrons in the next 12 months if I can, because they're such wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. Obviously, for some of you, you might want to get involved in this. This might be something you're interested in. These guys are all helping each other out and supporting each other and looking after each other, and the community is growing. And I am thinking about putting together a website, as I've said previously, because it will probably be slightly easier to manage the forums and stuff. But at the moment, the WhatsApp chat is amazing and it's a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm glad the guys are enjoying it too. I didn't think in the first instance of creating this little beast that it would already grow into what it's grown into, which is epic fun. So yeah, that's my resolution. Obviously, I can't win. Of all the guys I've just read out to you that are on that page and commented on that post, I will pick one at the end of the year based on what they've achieved and how much they've deviated, etc., and they will be the winner, and we will give them something. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I'm hoping to make it really very special. That's the idea anyway, and they will be a winner. I'm going to probably sign off nowish and go and play with my paintbrushes and start putting together my Death Guard. So I wasn't going to focus on Death Guard because a lot of people are, and then like I say, my brother bought me these models and they are so phenomenal. So I started to put a paintbrush to Mortari, so I'm already starting on this resolution. The year's just started. And I think actually, rather than prattle on now, I might do another list about Death Guard and the lists that I'm going to try and build, the 1,000 Sons and Death Guard armies, rather than bore you with it right now, because it would take away from what this video is about, and it might not get the views. The Death Guard 1,000 Sons part might not get the views I want if I bought it onto the end and no one knows it's hidden in here. But that's what we like, our little gems hidden in little videos. Anyway, thanks for watching this New Year's resolution type video for everybody. Feel free, even if you're not Patreons, to drop your hobby resolutions in the comments below. It'll be really interesting to hear, read, see people's resolutions and see what people are looking to do throughout 2018. Maybe you've gained some inspiration from this video. So yeah, feel free to comment below, because I just love the 40k community. I think it's awesome, and I like the support people can get from it. It would be interesting to see what people want to do. Maybe you've got bigger goals than the guys I've just read out. Maybe you've got smaller goals. I think mine's probably smaller than a lot of them, but I'm terrible at getting stuff painted, so I think it's justified that it's a little bit smaller. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. And what I will say, which is something I said in the last video, is, and this will be the last time I do it because we are still on the 1st of January, thank you so much to everybody, and I mean everybody, not just Patreons, everybody, for all the support in 2017, from getting this channel from 0 to over 1,800 subscribers, over 500,000 watch minutes, over 38 or 39,000 views in total. It's been an epic journey so far, and long may it continue, because I'm really enjoying doing this, and I'm enjoying this channel. I'm enjoying the community we're building and meeting people and talking hobby, and it's phenomenal. It's amazing. So long may it continue. Thank you very much for supporting. If you want to become one of these wonderful patrons, if you want to support the channel more, head on over to the link in the description below or at the top of the page there, I think. Head on over to Patreon, become a patron. From as little as $5 a month, I think it is, you could be involved in the WhatsApp group. You go up to the top level, $10, and you end up with merchandise and all sorts coming through your door. So feel free to join us, come and see what it's about, and you can join us for a month and go, actually I don't like that, and leave again. It's up to you. Actually, a point to note for you Patreons, this is probably something that people don't know. If you become a patron of Warhammer, Patreon takes the money from you on the 1st of every month. So this video is coming out after the 1st of January. You could become a patron on the 3rd, 4th of January, and you then have about 2 or 3 weeks of a tester to see if you like it. See if you like the WhatsApp chat, like being one of the patrons. And if you do like it, you can leave it alone and become a regular patron. If you don't like it, you can cancel it before the 1st of February, and you've lost nothing. You've had a free 3-month experience, 3-week experience. Just a thought. If you want to come and have a look at what it's all about. Anyway, like I say, thank you for the support. Also linked below, we have Redbubble for Warhammer merchandise, t-shirts and cups. I thought people would be buying them for each other for Christmas, but we didn't sell that many. And then we finally have the link below at the bottom, which is for our sponsor. Is it bottom, or I don't remember. But our sponsor, which is GameMat.eu. You obviously haven't seen that in this video, but if you check out the battle report, you'll see the scenery and the map from GameMat.eu. Incredible stuff. And they messaged me the other day about sending me more stuff for filming with, which will be awesome products. Thanks very much, guys. Please stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next one.